Let's talk about money. There are 11 money mistakes I want to talk about today that are really easy to make and can cost you thousands, no, even hundred thousands of dollars in the long run. The first mistake is not asking for more money.
Well, actually, I think I deserve a raise.
Ask yourself if you're being underpaid. One way to do this is research what the pay range for someone doing your type of work is. If your salary is at the lower end, plus you're actually doing a really good job at work, chances are that you are underpaid.
I'm most overworked, overtrained, underpaid.
You might have not gotten a salary increase for years, and your pay is severely lagging behind the market price. If every year you're paid $10,000 less than what you could have earned, then over just 5 years, that's $50,000, even without compounding. Even if it's just $5,000 less per year, over 5 years, that's $25,000. Find out the market price and ask for more money. Otherwise, you'll just be leaving money on the table. The next thing is one of the fastest ways to lose money, which is buying into gimmicks without doing proper research. Beware these following marketing gimmicks. Gimmicks that make you buy stuff that you don't need, and gimmicks that overpromise impossible results. Oftentimes the tactic is to pressure you into buying something today, right now, like within the next 1 hour to get a 70% discount.
You've been selected for a special introductory offer, madam.
Using one of the many tricks to interest you, he'll keep talking, exaggerating.
They make you feel bad and make you feel like you're really losing out if you don't buy that thing. Well, great if you're really going to use that fitness tool, but if not?
Ask yourself, is it what you need?
The next thing is indiscriminate spending. You might have a budget, but you might not be getting the best value out of it. To get the best value, you need to discriminate when spending, meaning that you need to decide on which items you want to spend more money than average and on which you want to spend much less, depending on your preferences. Let's say that you have a monthly budget of $2,200 for yourself. At this budget, you might be able to buy items at a mid-price range in each spending category. For example, you buy Levi's jeans for $40 and you buy regular eggs, which cost, let's say, $3 a dozen. But let's say that you're really into these high-end jeans which cost $120, but you have an average income plus you're really trying to save money. Does it mean that you can never buy those jeans? No, what it means that if you buy luxury in one category, you may have to buy Costco or Walmart in another category, so you balance out your budget. If you buy $120 jeans and shop at Whole Foods and drive an expensive car, then it will be really difficult to save any money.
You don't mean to tell me that you're living in poverty? No, but I'm broke.
The next mistake is not knowing your financial position. In plain words, this simply means not knowing how much money you really have. Many people avoid looking at their finances because it's scary. So they think they have money to spend, whereas in reality, they have no equity. Things you need to know about your financial position is how much in liabilities you have, that is mostly long-term debt like your mortgage, short-term debt like consumer and credit card debt, and also money you might owe to someone. You also need to know how much you have in assets, your investments, your savings. Once you subtract your debt from your assets, you'll have your equity. That is what you actually own. That is yours. You also need to have an idea of your cash flow. That means how much money is flowing in and out. You need to know the timing of when the money is coming in and when it will go out, and you can simply chart it out on an Excel sheet. Here's a simple example. In month 3, you have more money flowing out than coming in, so you have a minus of $300. If you project this in advance, you can prepare your finances, for example, by spending less in month 1, so you can cover that deficit in month 3. But if you don't do that, what will likely happen is that you either need to take on more debt, delay your credit card payments, or sell some investments, which brings me to the next mistake: not using your credit card correctly. There are 2 effects of using a credit card. The first one is that you make money for the bank that issues the credit card, that is by paying them an annual fee, late charges, and interest. Or the second one, you benefit from using the credit card. The best way to use a credit card that benefits you is to use your credit card like a debit card, meaning that you actually have the money to pay for stuff in your bank account and you just use your credit card as a tool to make the actual purchase. Also, always pay off your credit card in full and on time so you don't pay any kind of charges. To build up a good credit score, use your credit card regularly but keep your credit utilization rate low. That is the percentage of credit you use of what is available to you. By the way, before I continue, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm purely talking based on my own experience here and hope that that can be useful. Also, in case you're wondering what this all has to do with my channel, Multiple Careers, stick with me to the end and you'll see that managing money well is extremely relevant to having a career that you love. The next mistake can be quite fatal, which is not having an emergency fund. An emergency fund is a pot of money that serves as a backup when shit happens. We always want to believe that nothing bad will happen, but some things are just unexpected. If you don't have an emergency fund and suddenly need a few hundred or thousands of dollars, you might need to resort to debt or borrowing from friends and family, and that never feels great. You might not be able to pay them back as fast as you plan to, and it can put a dent in the relationship. And while you don't want to borrow from other people, also be careful about lending money to anyone. The next mistake is lending to other people. And yes, there are always exceptions to this. Someone might have an accident or a medical condition and needs urgent help, and in that case, yes, of course, help them. But in general, think carefully of what you're doing. Don't finance other people's spending habits. People might come to rely on you for money and make it a habit. And by lending them money, you can do more harm than good in the long run. Lending money to friends and family can also have a negative effect on the relationship. Whenever they buy something, you might be questioning why they're not paying you back instead. Connected to this mistake is also not having enough insurance. Make sure that you're sufficiently covered for health emergencies, travel disruptions if you go on vacation, so you don't have to pay for everything out of your own pocket. The next mistake is not planning for long-term expenses. You might have a monthly budget that includes recurring expenses like your rent and phone bill. But then there are those expenses that only happen once or twice a year, like traveling, or once in a lifetime expenses, like a wedding or so. Many people forget to budget for these items, and once these pop up, it messes with their entire cash flow. Plan at least for the next year. There's a monthly budget, which is, for example, $2,200 per month, and then you have what I like to call special expenses. Let's say that this adds up to $8,000 for the next year. So your actual monthly budget is $2,200 times 12 equals $26,400, plus the $8,000 in special expenses equals $34,400. Divided by 12 months, that's roughly $2,867. Doing this will also give you a more accurate idea of whether or not your current income level is sufficient to cover your expenses in the long run, and you'll be able to prepare that money in advance. If this was useful to you so far, please do me a favor and like this video and also leave a comment. YouTube tends to push out videos that have more activities in their comment section to more people, so I would really appreciate that. The next thing is not investing early enough. If you've not been saving and investing your money, you have missed out on a lot. Just as an example, if you had invested $2,000 in stocks in 2010, it would have been worth around $4,490 in 2021. So in a bit over 10 years, it would have more than doubled. People tend to underestimate the power of compounding and how fast small and regular amounts invested can grow. And the key here is time. Don't lay off investing because you can never get back the time. But it's not too late. It's always better to start now than never, and you can still make use of the magic of compounding and let your money grow without much effort. But connected to this is also the mistake of investing in things you don't understand. Don't easily believe what you hear from other people. Do thorough research, understand what you're investing in, what the risks are, and decide how much risk you want to take. The next mistake is a stupid mistake that I was guilty of making at some point, which is spending money on things you don't even use. And this is different from indiscriminate spending we talked about earlier. The worst thing is to spend money on things you never use and you're not even aware of, or you don't even get the slightest benefit out of. For example, subscriptions that you never use, monthly bank charges you pay just because your balance has slightly fallen below the minimum required, 3 streaming services you continuously pay for even though you've just been watching Amazon Prime for the last months. Look at your bills and really scrutinize what you're being charged for. The last mistake is one that many people, even those who are good with money, make, which is not having a purpose for saving money. And this is so important because your capacity for saving and spending will depend on this. You might be very good at budgeting and earn a good income, but if you don't have a clear goal and purpose for why you are saving and investing money, you can end up saving far less than what you're actually capable of. Let's say you're saving and investing about 15% of your income now, but you don't have a very clear purpose apart from saving for retirement at age 65, which is way too far away to make you feel any kind of urgency. But once you have a clear goal and a purpose, you can find ways to raise that savings rate to 50%. The goal could be to save $200,000 in 6 years. Saving 50% of your income might sound crazy to you now, but if you have a strong purpose, suddenly it becomes doable. While the goal may be to save $200,000, the purpose is much more important. For example, it might be to have the freedom to quit your job and drastically change careers. And here's the link to multiple careers. Multiple careers is the belief and philosophy that everyone can have more than one career and change their career throughout their life. But the currency is time and money. To do work you love and have the freedom to spend more time on things that matter to you, you need time and money. And money can buy you the option of choosing how you want to spend your time. No money, no real freedom. And if you ask me, that's a hell enough of a reason to care about money. If you want to know about one of the big money traps that keeps people poor, click on this video here. Please like and share this video if it was useful to you, and also share with me in the comments any other money mistakes you think we should avoid. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you again soon.